Chaotic greetings to you. Did you ever have a love affair with Pinterest? I'm talking 2000s obsession, potentially the reason why all of us millennials enjoy Grage. Because if you did, this video is for you. Because I decided in my infinite wisdom that I wanted to make a fall craft project. And so, as the proper millennial that I am, I went back to my love affair of Pinterest. Well, less of a love affair now because now it's basically all AI slop, but I did still find something to make. I stumbled across these amazing pumpkin lanterns that look to be made out of paper. Now, me being me, I know how my family is with things that are paper. We destroy them all. So, while I do want to go ahead and make one of these as per the actual instructions from the folks that made it, I also want to go bigger. Because I would like to make a felt paper lantern that I can use for multiple seasons in a row, as opposed to having to remake the paper ones every year. And today's video is sponsored by Pair Eyewear, but more on them in a little bit. Now, I wanted to get started with the paper version. This is to mainly give me an idea of the baseline for what these are supposed to look like and how they go together, and because it's cute and they already did it for me. And no, I do not own a Cricut, except for the one that was my mother's that's circa like 2004 that definitely couldn't have done any of this. So thankfully, I had a local friend that was willing to take all of these files, get them arranged for me, and then I went down and printed them out. Because no, you don't have to have every tool at your disposal. So long as your community has one, you should be covered. So for this project, I needed 3 of the large exterior pumpkins, 2 bases, the leaf ×2, 6 pumpkin inserts, and 6 gray inserts that are supposed to be the backer so that you don't just get light, you get light. And while their first step does tell you to put 1 and 2 together, no, you gotta put together 3 because it needs time to dry.
Sure, Jan.
One of these is 1, one of them is 2. They go together. I mean, I guess I could do it really fast. It takes 14 seconds, I do believe. It goes like this. 1, and then you latch this one down into 2. Now we have the beginnings of our pumpkin. I forgot to start my second angle. I should probably do that. Next up, I'm gonna take my glue stick. It disappears. And I am going to open this because I'm an adult and I can do that. And I'm going to take this piece right here, which is number 3, and I'm going to attach one of these paper pieces to either side. Oh, I forgot how easy glue sticks are. I'm so used to like hot glue and situation like, oh, wow, this is so nice. 7,000 years later, because she's a perfectionist. And then we're gonna go on top of its friend here. Thankfully, the purple will disappear when it dries because I'm not good at this. Are you gonna make me hot glue you? So now I have to glue the opposite side of this one so that I can just sandwich it. I'm gonna try and go a little bit more ham on this one. And then we're gonna try and go right here to line up that section. And then maybe, listen, it's not perfect, but it'll be fine. I'm gonna push that down for a second because this is really just like wanting to fly up. While I'm holding this down, the next step is going to be putting this piece I just glued in to its little friends here. So this part has to be slid from the bottom like that in the hole.
That's what she said.
This goes here. Oh, this is messy. It's a little loosey-goosey there, but that's all right. Now, I'm gonna reference my instructions here real fast because I think the next thing is putting in a base. That's what I think is next. And they're the exact same size, so it doesn't really matter. Yes, so this goes in next, and they want you to put it in the bottom, obviously. Turn this carefully. All right, now comes the structure, right? So like 1, 2, sorta, because you know, it's paper. There's only so much structure you got there. Now comes the part that I am dubious about. Oh no, I am supposed to put the top in. So sorry, my bad. We must put the top in next. This is now to the point that I am dubious about. Because in the instructions, it says, and I quote, "We put piece 6 and 7 together. The translucent piece looks in the side of the lantern." Translucent piece? In their instructions, nowhere did they tell me to grab anything translucent. So I have 80 GSM and some more 80 GSM paper. And it's supposedly supposed to, like, the tension of this is supposed to hold it. I don't know if I believe that, because it does not say to glue these together. So I'll give it a shot, but I don't know if this is gonna work. We're gonna start and try it, you know? Not gonna harsh the buzz here in case this actually works, in case some mystical tension I don't know about takes over. Okay, that vaguely worked. Let's try the rest and see if the rest stay too. Oh, okay. All right. That makes 2. Okay, gently. 3.
Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it.
Bueller? Sort of. I think I did it! That's a pumpkin lantern. Seriously, I'm gonna breathe on this thing wrong. These gray pieces are gonna collapse. That's what's going to happen. But now, let's retire our glue stick. Dang it, where did it go? Ah!
Hey, my glasses!
But thankfully, the sponsor of today's video, Pair Eyewear, has me covered. In case you haven't heard of Pair Eyewear before, they are a glasses company that believes your glasses should be just as customizable as your clothes. Now for my new glasses, I ordered the Quinn frames in blue tortoise, which have this super fun kind of vintage lift to them. Plus the lenses are nice and wide so I can see what I'm doing when I'm creating chaos in this room. Not only are they super stylish, but they also have toppers. This is the black and white plaid. This is the pumpkin pearl swirl. And as a person who lives in Florida, you can't go anywhere without your polarized rainbow gradient sun top. And not only are they super stylish, but they are also very affordable, with the base frames and prescription lenses starting at $60. Because yes, your girl can't go anywhere like this. I can't see anything. With toppers starting at $25. Which means that when it is time for spooky season, you can go ahead and just customize the frames that you already have, thereby lessening your overhead by having multiple pairs of prescription lenses that can get quite spendy. All you have to do is go to paireyewear.com and scroll through to see exactly which type of frames you might like. And if you're not sure about the frames, they do have a try-on feature where you can actually try on the glasses and see them on your face before you buy anything. So if you want to join me at Customization Station, go to the link in my description or scan the QR code right here and use my code StephanieCanada15 to receive 15% off of your first pair. And thank you to Pair Eyewear for sponsoring today's video. But now, let's see how this makes up in felt. Good morning. You might be wondering, Stephanie, why are you holding the pumpkin that you literally made the other day? Well, let me answer that for you. Because the file that I bought, I was originally going to link for everyone so that you could make your own. I don't think I'm going to do that now. Because when I went to go print out the PDF format, let's just say there needs to be some quality control done. When I went to go print it, this is what the base came out looking like. And this is what the internal pieces looked like. Do you see how this might be a problem? So I spent right around an hour last night trying to print out different sizes. However, I literally have one right here that works. So when you used the Cricut file, this worked fine. And I'm just going to gently disassemble just to trace out onto paper so I can actually move forward. And now that those are apart, I am going to do myself a favor, not use those things and just use the ones that I've already got. Because I am going to be using this By the Yard felt from Michaels. Now, is it a little wiggly? Am I a little concerned that it's not gonna hold shape? Yeah, I am. But you know what? That's where modern technology comes in, baby. That's what we have spray starch for. After I cut the pieces out, because I don't want my hands to be all starchy and gross, I am going to then spray starch the pieces so that they hold structure. And since I'm putting an electric candle into this, I'm not worried about it catching fire. And what I need to trace is I need to trace each one of these 3 because they're all different. 6 of these little backing pieces out of something else that is not the felt. So I'm going to set that one aside. 6 of these, which will not be pumpkins, and 2 of these.
So I got to tracing.
And this is double layered, so all I have to do is cut this once.
It was at this moment I realized that the center pumpkin was slightly different than the other 2, so I had to fix that angle. Okay, gonna change this plan slightly because this is very wiggly, and I'm not 100% sure that this is actually going to work. So I'm going to change to not doing the big design just yet. What I am going to do is I'm going to go spray starch these and see if I can get any structure would be cool at this point. Because this is the small version. I wanted to make one at least twice as large. So there's that. But I will also cut out some of the white felt that I have to do a couple backing pieces on some of these because I really don't know if this is going to work at this point.
But now, let's kick on the iron and start spraying these and ironing them so that hopefully they aren't sad sack potatoes. Guess I'll let it dry. Hopefully it does something. Otherwise, why am I doing this? Whee!
A few moments later.
Okie dokie. Artichokies. Let's see what we got. Oh, it's not great. I also don't think they're 100% dry. It still feels a little damp. So I might hit them with the iron again, but that's better. Will it stand up? Don't know. BRB once I iron these. All right, let's do this. Are they 100% dry? No, thanks for asking. It was... I remember how this goes. I don't know what you're talking about. Like this. Oh, these are still so loosey-goosey. Even with the spray starch. So this is what we have. Goodbye.
A few moments later.
Do I even try? Listen, we try. We try adding the bases. Because these have more structure. I will give them that. Like, these are quite stiff. This is not. Can I get this to work, though? Let's see. And we know these fit.
No.
Because I did them off of the paper.
Not this time.
What if I go upside down? Oh, yeah, there we go. That's got some more oomph to it. Okay.
No.
Uh-oh. Did I trim these wrong? We're going to try and trim those in just a little more. Because that is
If ever there 'twas a sad pumpkin, this was the saddest pumpkin there 'twas. So what if I go in and just like extend this a little bit? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know right now. Because there's no structure. I was in fact so frustrated that I had to turn off the camera for a moment.
Goodbye.
To Winnie the Pooh think about it.
Light bulb.
And then I decided to hot glue the extra one that I had cut out to the main centerpiece so that it wouldn't completely fall over. And don't judge the table. The rule of the craft room is that only one surface can be clean at any given time. Alright, let's try this again. Now that they're all glued together, because I did actually go and make duplicates for the other two to also make them a tiny bit more secure. The one with the double starchies is the last one. I did not starch the extra one, which is why these are still kind of wiggly. I have a feeling I am going to Lowe's to go buy some wire. Do 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 do. I mean, that's sort of better. Kinda. But this is the next piece. Now we're getting hard to go through these little bits here. All right, now the question is, does this stand up better than last time? Yes! It looks a mess, but it does. All right, I did not duplicate anybody else, so, but this one is the one I cut down. Yes, I cut this one down because of the weird tension thing that was going on. No, if I put you there, I do actually need you to stay there. Are you coming out as I frickin' do this? Oh my god! Need to trim this one down a little bit more. Now for the top. Don't be a pain in my butt. I feel like I got the GMO pumpkin. Oh no. Okay. I mean, let's see if this even works at this point. Because you're supposed to back it, even though I haven't cut anything out. But I feel like the extra structure, anything to help at this point. No words, just thoughts and prayers toward a very lumpy pumpkin. I have 2 left, and I don't just want it to be a sapathetic pumpkin here. I do want him to have some type of eyes, at least eyes. I think we just go classic. We just do triangle, triangle, and a jack-o'-lantern style mouth. Yeah, sure, that's a thing. And just give him some slices, get it out of there. Listen, it's not my best, but you know what? We're going with what we have at this moment, which is not very many brain cells and a whole lot of frustration. And just like that, we have a second pumpkin. I'm not gonna lie, that was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I am definitely going to have to add some serious structure to the next one to even pray that this thing holds itself together, because my goal is literally double the pumpkin. Will it work? I don't know. Guess we're gonna find out tomorrow once I brainstorm how to make this work. Good morning. Today is the day we go from derpy to derpy. I don't know if that's actually what's going to happen, but if I'm going off of this, it's very likely. Because I learned a lot yesterday. However, I'm going to make it as succinct as possible. First off, this all is way too flimsy. These actually, once they finish drying, the starch, fine. We love that. We're going to starch it again. The top, the round pieces, I have to double those too. Because otherwise you're getting this curling effect here on the bottom, and it's making him even more derpy than he already is. I do like the doubled up of all the felt. However, knowing that it took my printer to go from 100 to 150, and then I had to buy legal size cardstock, cut it all out, tape it together. This is huge. Like, oh my. So for this one, what I am going to be doing, I am going to be doubling all the felt. There's a possibility that for this main middle piece, don't mind this, I only copied it on one side. I bought some foam core, so I'm wondering if I do felt, foam core, felt for at least this piece. I wish I could say I could do the bottom or the top piece, but I don't think I can with the way that this is shaped. These had to bend into place, and I don't know if it's possible unless I opened up one of these to more of a triangular shape to get that first section in. But that would help with the womp womp of this bottom. Hello, I just lost an eyeball. So that's my plan. Oh yeah, I also have to cut 4 of these if I can't figure out the foam core, because I will definitely need to be hot gluing the crap out of them, because I don't think interfacing is strong enough to even hold this. So hot glue it is. But either way, I've got to get this all cut out so I can spray starch it and then let it dry for 7,000 years.
Six hours later.
Well, that took longer than planned. Now listen, it didn't actually take me from when you last saw me until actually 10:43 p.m. for this to all dry and get ready. No. Because first, you see, I was gonna let it dry for about 45 minutes. It was still damp, so I decided to go get my kid. My kid then informed me that the science project that they definitely thought was due on Friday actually is due tomorrow, Thursday instead. So I had to hard pivot to helping them with this science project until it was time for them to go to bed. And then when they got them to bed, I realized that I had forgotten to cut out the white pieces and starched them. So then I cut them out, I starched them, I ironed them, and now we're here and it's 10:43. So here's the deal. I'm not gonna do a whole lot before I go to bed, but what I am going to do is I'm going to try and figure out how to make these stiffer.
So I set my other starched pieces aside and got in to this thing. And I had stacked all of them with their exact duplicate friends, however this one got a little wonkadoodle. So the next task was to line it all up and sandwich in some of this 12-gauge decorative wire that I had purchased at Michael's, so that it would give it more structure. And because it was floral wire, it was pretty easy to manipulate and form into the shape that I needed. So I grabbed whatever snips I could find and cut out my piece.
Well, that worked quite lovely. Like, this actually feels like something I can manipulate safely and not have it fall apart. So I'm definitely going to reproduce this for the other side piece, because there's 2 sides and 1 big centerpiece. And then I'm probably gonna sleep on if I'm gonna cut this and hot glue it to this giant piece of foam core, or if I think that this metal structure will actually do better.
The next day.
Good morning. I do feel better. And because I slept on it, I am going to opt for the wire option to go through this final pumpkin, because I do want the slight malleability that this wire provides me for when this pumpkin has to be the last one to go over the top and the bottom. I fear that if I were to use the giant thing of foam core, it would just break in the middle and make me cry a little. So we're not doing that. And I will show you how I attach this wire, so if you want to do this, you can do it too. So the first thing I do before I hot glue anything, I'm going to make sure that these marks are cut apart so I have some type of reference, because I'm going to put the hot glue on the side that I marked so that when I sandwich it, there's nothing but orange and there's no way any of this marker can be seen. And then you set the clean one aside. I'm going to take my 12-gauge wire, and then I'm just gonna kind of get it a little bit straighter before I try and make it do my bend to my will. Now this one's gonna be harder because I'm gonna have to go up around this little nubbin here. Because this is so dicey, I actually am probably gonna start here by making a little nubbin. So I'm gonna go up and around that little thing because you don't want to block your cuts at all. And then I'm just gonna give it a vague shape as we go around here. Does not have to be perfect. Does need to lay vaguely flat. Oh my God, tripod. So then I'm gonna cut it right there so that I can have a little extra tail there
And I'm just using whatever snips I had in the garage. These aren't fancy. I'm pretty sure I got them with the free tool cabinet that I found on the side of the road. Now I've got my hot glue gun here all warmed up. I'm going to start by just giving myself a little nubbin, and I'm just going to sit it there for a second. I'm not going to move. I'm just going to let it kind of cool down. And I'm also going to give it just a little bit of a top here to kind of seal it in and make sure my wire does not, my other piece does not hit that. All right, that one's secure enough that now I can just go and do, I'm just doing little dollops right now. Yes, they do make a weird little lump, but I truly don't care. If you're looking that close at my pumpkin, what are you doing? Why are you looking so close? And all the rest are just going to be one-sided. They're not going to be this double layer, because that gets thick real quick. And the only thing I care about in this moment is I do not want these to overlap, the wires. I want them to lay next to each other so they're the same thickness all the way around. And now with that all done, it's really just about getting as much hot glue in between those two layers as possible without it overflowing, but giving it the structure that I need without the floppiness of Derpy Pumpkin. And then the final step, once you hot glue it, is just to really make sure that you're cutting the other side, so that way when you go to put it all together, you have the ability to do that. Now, that means I have 3 exteriors ready to go. Huzzah! But here's the thing. Now that I've done that with the metal pieces in the middle, this doesn't feel like a good solution. The paper in the middle, that feels like I'm still gonna get the bowing that is happening to Derpy. So I think we're going to use the rest of the metal and rinse and repeat and just make one center circle for each of these to give these just a bit more oomph. All right, this is promising. It's still a little loosey-goosey, but the metal in the middle I think is really gonna do the trick. And now, yes, I have to do the test fit. Where are my scissors? I don't care about, because I'm about to cut through hot glue. Found them. Because part of the problem with Derpy is that all of his little connections here were too tight. So I want to open them all up just a little bit, sort of like they were in the paper version. So there's a little opening here now. Will it be enough? I don't know. All right, that one's done. Ooh, interesting. As I'm manipulating the hot glue, I'm feeling little pops. I don't like that. The whole point of me hot gluing you is so you stay. I'm gonna do this to the rest of them.
A few moments later.
This one is now all done. And yeah, there's still some issues, but nothing that I'm gonna redo. I feel pretty secure in this. I got them all to vaguely sit flat here and here. I'm feeling much better about this. Now, might I remind you of the Derp Man himself? This whole thing here, when you cut the exterior felt, it pops away from the white underlayer. So I think to give it a bit more structure, I do want to connect the two.
And while I yammered on about the possibility of me sewing them together, I actually ended up just going with Mod Podge.
So now the question, do I want another jack-o'-lantern or do I want to try and make a lantern design? Because I do like Derpy. He's cute. Is he also easier because there's only 2 pieces I have to cut? Yes. But I will put it to the members in a quick little poll and we'll see what they say.
And if you want to help me decide these type of projects, you can always join me either here on YouTube by clicking the join button down below or by joining us on Patreon as well. And the winner is Lantern Style. Let's do it.
Because I do have my big copy right here. And what I know is I know that this pumpkin right here I think is going to be completed. So we're going to keep this up here. Yeah, like that. And these honestly might need to be a little thicker because of the felt. So with that, then what I think I want to do is I want to make like a ghosty up here instead.
And truly, I was just winging this. I'm not a graphic design artist. I'm not even really that much of an artist. I just have the crafter's audacity to look at something and go, I want that thing. So I make it myself.
Is that going to look too weird? I don't know. Let's try doing a test cut.
And with that looking pretty good, I went on to cutting it out, which only went so well. Because at first, you see, I decided to just go in straight with my X-Acto knife and my pattern piece. That was a poor choice.
Ah! Oh no, this is not going to work.
Mainly because I was too nervous about actually cutting into it, so I didn't cut all the way through the felt.
Okay. Next plan.
Plan B was using one of my Friction pens to trace my pattern onto my piece, remove the pattern piece, and then cut it with the X-Acto knife. This also only went so well. Because you see at this point I had used this X-Acto blade on paper and fabric, and so it had dulled by using it with the paper, and, well, this happened.
Ah! Okay, maybe this is not gonna work.
So I went with Plan C, which is using some of my Kai scissors. And originally I had used my longer blade ones, and well, that also was a little bit of a struggle to get the nitty-gritty details. So I did end up switching to the most microscopic ones that I had, which ended up reminding me why they are just snips, not full-on scissors.
Well, now, if this didn't turn out the heckin' cutest. Look at him! He's a little ghosty and a pumpkin. One down. I do, though, think I'm only going to do the front 3 panels, and then the back 3 will just be for structure. What an idea.
A few moments later.
And done. With my hand reminding me that I turned 40 this month, and maybe I shouldn't do this in a time crunch. These are all ready to go. However, I don't want to mess up all the work that I just did, and I read online that my idea to do Mod Podge as the glue might screw with the felt. So I'm going to do a little small-scale test just to make sure that putting this orange felt, or on the front of that white felt, with Mod Podge doesn't completely screw it up. And now, we wait.
1 hour later.
Good news! Even though I'm heckin' impatient and it's only been about an hour, like that nice thin layer, it's attached. Like, I'm not gonna pull at it because I wouldn't pull at the real one, but like that looks like something that I could then go forth and put together for the real thing.
And with the bravery of a 2-inch piece of felt under my belt, I dove into the actual lantern itself.
And done. What a frickin' journey, men. From paper that was relatively easy to put together to derpy back there to a really cool felt pumpkin that I'm super frickin' proud of. And I truly don't know how else to explain what the amazingness is that's right there other than keep going, keep trying new things. If it fails the first time, that doesn't mean it's going to fail in the end. As is noted by a very proud pumpkin that I will now happily put out many, many years in a row. But before I get to the final reveal, I do want to thank my sponsor, Pair Eyewear, one more time. And if you would like to get yourself a new pair of glasses, make sure you're clicking the link down below in my description and using my code StephanieCanada15 to get 15% off of your first pair. But now, how does it actually look? And does it glow? Let's find out in the final reveal. You really are a sad, sad little boy, aren't you? I just had my glue stick. Did it roll off the table? You stopped recording. Poor K. Did you... You had a full bat... That camera is possessed! Was that corny enough? I feel like it was.